YouTube for Realtors. This agent 5x'd his production over the last couple of years by leveraging YouTube, but with a unique twist. He was able to identify a niche of military relocation in Oahu, Hawaii, and went on to create a program. And in this video, Pat Longley from Hawaii talks about how he created a program to educate his clients, which allowed him to become the dominant agent in his market for anybody looking to relocate there within the military. This has gone on to allow him to build a massively productive business, closing multiple deals every single month, now getting daily calls from his YouTube videos. And in this video, he breaks down everything for you. The exact videos that he created, his exact process from recording, editing, thumbnail design, uploading, and optimizing, and his best practices and the unique things he did to build massive momentum as an agent who previously never leveraged video. Now, before bringing Pat on, two quick things. Number one, you are going to want to check out and subscribe to Pat's channel. I'm going to link all of the information in the description below so that you can rip off and duplicate and make it your own to follow a proven blueprint for your market. And secondly, at the end of this video, Pat's actually going to explain how you can get free access to the entire program that he created that he gives to his clients so that you can create something like this within your market to become the dominant agent as well. And you're able to talk to him one-on-one on Zoom if you click the link in the description to book a meeting with Pat. So without further ado, let's bring on Pat, talk about how you can 5x your production and build a massively successful business with clients coming directly to you literally every single day. Welcome back to another incredible video where today we've got on a very special guest, a returning guest who's a great friend of mine, Pat Longley out of good old Hawaii. And this is going to be a super powerful topic because we've talked in the past, and since we had our last video together, you know, you've been able to 5x your production through YouTube, and you've been able to do it by identifying niches and creating different resources that I know we're going to be diving into, but it's just been incredible to see that journey. So really excited, man. What's going on, Pat? Welcome to the channel again.
Thank you, brother. No, I'm super pumped. We'll dive into, yeah, my business has completely exploded, and it's been all pretty much because of video. And we'll get into some of the details of how I kind of found a great niche that has, honestly, 80% of my business is coming from video and how I'm reinvesting in it. So I'm really excited to share my experience and just diving into it.
Definitely, man. Well, you know, for people that may not have seen the first video, you know, before we dive into the tactical, practical information and JML, why don't you just give people a bit of an idea of who you are, where you're from, you know, what that trajectory has been like into real estate, maybe even touch on some of your, you know, short form that went viral during, you know, the pandemic, and how you've been able to get into this video niche.
Yeah, right on. Well, again, I'm Patrick Longley. I'm a licensed realtor out here in Oahu, Hawaii, have been for about nearly a decade. But before I got into real estate, I was actually in the digital advertising space. So I owned a digital advertising company, and I actually knew a fair amount about driving traffic and things of that nature. So it was natural, obviously, to shift over to EXP because it's cloud-based and more of the techie savvy brokerage. And then, of course, when I partnered up with you, Mike, you know, I like to think I know everything, but when it came to video, I didn't know much. And it really has taken my life to the next level as well as my business. So yeah, I've been licensed, like I said, for nearly a decade, and just been focusing on video to grow my business, because when I moved to Hawaii, I didn't know anybody, right? I didn't have aunts, uncles, cousins who were going to pass me business. So I had to figure out a way to reach the masses and spread the word and generate business. So video has been the platform I've been leveraging, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you know, you've been able to do really well at YouTube and short form, and we'll start diving into that, but you already kind of touched on it. But is there an idea as to why you specifically lean into YouTube among so many other platforms that you can use video on? You know, why did you specifically dive really deep into YouTube?
Yeah. So again, me not knowing anybody, I felt that it was a good platform to get in front of people without having to knock doors or just shove down people's throat that, hey, I'm an agent, let me help you buy or sell, if they don't even know me. So being able to leverage the second biggest search engine in the world, YouTube, I was able to learn things and then film it, know it, and then spread the word. So it allowed me to scale my business, scale my my message to a lot of people. Instead of Instagram's great, you know, Facebook is great, but it doesn't have organic longevity. It basically will die once it just goes. If I'm not connected with someone, no one's going to see it. There's no searchability whatsoever. So being able to leverage, once again, the second biggest search engine in the world, I was able to make a video, random people would see it. They would see the video, then they would know, like, and trust me because they actually see how I talk, how I carry myself, and the message I was trying to get across. So I found that it was the best message and best way to provide that message. And just super pumped to use YouTube, and I'm keep investing in it. It's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, as you kind of touched on there, in order to put out a good YouTube video, you actually have to educate yourself, which makes you a, more well-rounded tool when it comes to being a realtor. And I think a lot of people, don't really know the nuances of the market because they don't take the time to study it and be a student of your market center in a sense. And in order to put out a good YouTube video, you have to gain that knowledge. So you're putting out great content, but simultaneously you're educating yourself to be a better resource for your clients. Now, let's dive into YouTube and talk about, before we get into maybe, some of the strategies you're using, what type of videos are you recording? And from your experience, what type of content have you seen yields, people actually reaching out to you and leading to close deals?
Yeah, so some of my most popular videos is the simple stuff you tell us to make, right? Pros and cons of this area, what you can get for 300 grand in Oahu, Hawaii. And then also like some of my more specific videos on moving to Hawaii. Like one of my best videos was how to move your pet to Hawaii. And it wasn't directly for real estate, but obviously if they're moving to Hawaii with their pet, it's probably a serious move, and then that would turn into business. So those were some of my most popular ones, pros and cons, different strategies or different ways of moving to Hawaii and giving information about moving to Hawaii. And then also price points, like what you can buy for $1 million and things like that.
100%. And, I think, a lot of people try and reinvent the wheel, and they're always trying to find these crazy video topics that nobody else is doing, but there's usually a reason why nobody else is doing it, because nobody's searching for it. And following a proven blueprint is so powerful. Now, in the beginning, a lot of people are going to focus on just the very generic videos, but you've also been able to lean into a niche. And I think it's really cool to unpack, how you identified a niche and what you were able to do to kind of lean into that and create resources so that you could become, the go-to person for a specific sector of people. So, what niche did you identify and how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, so we're going to debunk a lot of things that people probably think in their mind, because my story about this is kind of interesting. So like you said, I was making general videos. I was trying anything and everything, but I'm very much a type A analytical guy. So I was always looking at the data and going, okay, what is actually hitting? What is getting searches? What are people commenting on? What is getting interactions? And out here in Oahu, Hawaii, we have every single branch of the military out here. I mean, you can't throw a rock and not hit a military base. So I started to educate myself a little bit on that market, but more specifically the VA loan. And as I learned about it, I would make a video about it, and I would just keep pumping those out. And those started to hit really well. And generally what I found was that guys and girls, military servicemen and women who were getting PCS or permanent change of station to Hawaii were generally doing their research on Hawaii, right? Hawaii VA loans, what you can buy for a certain amount with a VA loan, what's the eligibility for a VA loan. So I started making videos for this, and because they were serious, they were moving here and they were doing their research, and I was the guy, because they didn't know anybody who was giving them all the information they were looking for, they would start calling me. And now 80% of my business is coming from YouTube, and of that business, I would say probably about 90% is military. So I just have doubled down and just have highly focused on that niche.
Yeah, I love that journey, because I think a lot of people also make the misconception that you have to have a niche identified from day one or else it's not worth putting out content. And that's very much not the case. But, as we always talk about, what gets measured gets managed. And when you could start looking at the data and saying, this is performing, so maybe I should double down on things like that, it almost leads you naturally into that niche. And I think it's really cool that you've taken that, very calculated, data-driven approach. Now, you've also been able to create resources for this niche. So step one, you kind of started putting out content and realized the power of leveraging video. Step two, you started identifying who's connecting more with that, very similar to me with social media content. And then step number three, you started creating additional value for that niche to really over deliver on what anybody else would do. So do you want to kind of unpack, what you've created and, how that's been able to help, create a better customer journey for those military people?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you've always taught us, Mike, R&D, don't reinvent the wheel. I kind of ripped off your concept and your idea, which was, always provide value, but see if there's a way that you can package it up so it's very simple for them, because people will go down that rabbit hole. Now, what I've done is, once again, once I noticed what my niche was, which was the military market, I noticed that a lot of these servicemen and women were not being fully educated. Yeah, they could go down the rabbit hole, but we weren't able to control what information they were taking in and whether it was going from A to Z to give them all the information they needed to make a decision. So what I ended up doing was I made a lot of these videos, and they're on my YouTube channel, but I basically made even more and organized it in an actual course, 50 plus videos. They're not super long. They're probably between 2 and 5 minutes, but it takes you from A to Z, from finding a lender, finding a realtor, types of homes to use, and how to leverage that VA loan to build wealth. And we're talking like granular stuff, like doing a HELOC, a refinance, anything and everything, how to get your offer accepted, just tons of things that a lot of people wouldn't know, and literally laying it all out A to Z with the map to make it really simple. And what my strategy was initially to sell it. And I do sell it and I make a little bit of income on that. But I now, when I get connected with someone, I give it to them for free. And I tell them, hey, give it to your friends for free. And that has just paid dividends, because I have the opportunity to sit them down, teach them everything that they need to know, build that trust. And it's just been paying dividends, because they're like, dude, this guy knows everything. I want to work with this guy. And I didn't even have to sit him down. I literally sent him a link.
That's so cool, man. And I think it, again, is a testament to over delivering on value. And we talk about this every now and then, which is, if you ever have the thought that, am I giving away too much for free? Then usually you're not giving away enough. And the fact that, you've been able to do that is so powerful, because nobody can touch that value proposition when it comes to a general agent. And, I don't know if you maybe want to touch on this, but from my experience in creating courses and programs, it's a really incredible journey, because you have to put yourself in the shoes of the uneducated. And I find, when we talk about this stuff all day long, whether it be military, VA loans, or with me with social media strategies, you're kind of talking at an educated level because it's second nature to you. But I find I almost relearn things when or even learn new things when I'm putting myself in the shoes of somebody that's never opened a platform before. And now I have to help them step by step in sequential order to get to the point where, they're excelling at it very proficiently. Did you find the same with you, in terms of you probably learned along the journey of creating that program and were able to kind of get a better grasp on that opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we have, we're in this business day in and day out, right? So we just think, oh, escrow is what it is, right? Preliminary title report, it is what it is. And it wasn't until I actually built it all out and saw them step by step where I had to dive a little bit deeper. And then I took it to the next level, which once again, I learned from you, which was I released this free course to a select few of people who have not purchased a home that wanted to leverage their VA loan. And they were pumped because they felt very special. And then I got the information that I needed in the feedback. And that's basically what I said, hey, you're going to get this course for free. All I ask for you is to provide me feedback. And I got some awesome feedback that I didn't even think of, or videos that they would have liked to see. So I was able to level up the value that I provide by listening and actually applying those things that they wanted to see in the video, and actually make the video for them.
That's so cool. And I want to touch on a little bit more on, your program later in this video. But I think, as we start to, kind of pull this full circle so people have a better understanding, you've kind of gone through similar phases that I have with content. And, I'd like to talk about, the beginning stages and then where you're at today and where things can go. But in the beginning, what did your process look like from record to edit to thumbnail to upload? Like, what was that journey like for you back, when you first got started?
So you could probably see this on your videos. I don't know if you've cleaned yours up. I haven't, but if you literally go to the very beginning, you'll see that it's recorded with my camera on my computer with, I think, my AirPods in that might have been even plugged in like this. And I just took imperfect action, right? So at the beginning, I just figured out a couple videos to make. This was before I even met you and had an actual process that, like, you taught everybody at the Wolfpack. But I just kind of was gunslinging. I said, let's do this. I was in the digital advertising space, and I wanted to shift people's mind into Patrick, the web guy, to Patrick, the real estate guy. So I just started making videos. And again, it was very raw. There's lots of ums, there's lots of uhs. I would make the video, I would edit myself on my iPhone, and then I would upload it, try to optimize it. Maybe I had a thumbnail, not sure. It was pretty clunky at the beginning, but I just tried to be consistent. I did it blindly without any results for 6 months. Because in my mind, it wasn't so much about the organic traffic. I was using it more to spread the word to my sphere of influence, right? The people who know me, I wanted to shift their brain from Patrick, the web guy, to Patrick, the real estate guy. So I wasn't even thinking about getting traffic from YouTube because I never even lived in that world. I was making the videos, uploading them, and then just sharing them to, Facebook, which was big back then, right?
Yeah.
So after just kind of doing that, then I started getting traffic, and then I got calls from random people I didn't even know. They're like, "Oh, I found you on YouTube." I was like, "Oh, I forgot I actually uploaded it there. It wasn't even my focus." But then that's when a light bulb went off when I think I got a $12,000 check from somebody who found me on YouTube after doing a deal with them. And I was like, damn, like this works. Like I need to shift gears. And then it wasn't until too longer after where, that one call that came after 6 months, it was one call a month. And then it was one call, or 2 calls a month. Then it was 1 call a week. And now I'm probably getting about 1 call a day or 1 every 2 days. So it's really exploded. And now at this point, our journey, I went from the beginning of, having my headphones in and plugged in and editing it myself to now, I basically have 2 videographers. I have one here local, and then I have one that I've outsourced. I think he's in the Philippines. And then I have an operations manager who actually helps me with, I give him all the content. He's going to add all the notes. He's going to give it to our editors in the Philippines. He's going to optimize it, get the thumbnail, put everything. So at this point, all I have to do is research, film, and give it. And that's it. I don't have to do anything else, but I had to train them on what to do from the training that you provided us. And that was a whole process in itself. And now I've got, I use the Trello board to kind of get things through, and everybody has one centered area for communication. And it's really freed me up to facilitate those leads that I'm getting once a day, but also make sure that I stay consistent, because that's what the YouTube algorithm wants to see, is you staying consistent. So I just do what you say, batch edit. I'll sit down, I'll film 8 videos in one sitting. I'm good for the month. And then I'll just do that once a month, and then we're good to rock and roll.
It's so powerful to hear that. And I think it's something I really want people to understand is like, a lot of people compare their chapter 1 to our chapter 20, and they're seeing the quality of our videos now, or the fact that we're able to do so much volume, where we don't have to do some of these activities. But, in the beginning, I think there's a lot of value in what I refer to as knowing enough to be dangerous, where, you and I both did the editing. We've both done the thumbnail design. And now when you bring on teams and outsource it, you know how to call out certain things that could be done differently or done better because you've done it yourself. And, a lot of people are, again, using that crutch of, if it's not perfect, I'm not going to put it out. If I can't hire somebody, I don't have time for it. But we all know that everybody has time for it. It's just a mismanagement of priorities. So, I love that you've been able to go on that journey. And, I think I'd love to hear your perspective, especially in the market that you're in, about being very authentic and genuine and, being yourself on camera, because obviously, I know you very well, and you wear Hawaiian shirts and you're very casual in your content, and that's very much the vibe. And I think, a lot of people also kind of like have that crutch that they have to look a certain way on camera or present themselves in a certain way. And I found in the beginning of my journey, I almost tried to do that, and it took away from my content, because if you met me in person, it wasn't the same. And now, when you start to be more genuine, it allows people to convert higher because of the fact that they feel like they know you.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because I've gotten literally feedback from people like, oh yeah, I saw your videos. And then I have a couple, we'll call them competitors out here, that are doing something similar. And they're like, we just liked your vibe. Yeah. Right. And that came off for a couple different things. And, at the beginning, like you, I was clean shaven, everything was super tight and just, proper, because I thought that that's what the realtor was. And then when I realized, like, hey, people like working with me for me being me, I grew a mustache, I'm wearing Hawaiian tees, sometimes I'm in slippers or what have you. But at the end of the day, you get what you put out is what you get back, right? So I'm putting out who I am as a person, and then I'm getting matched up with amazing people who like me for who I am before I've even met them, because I'm being true on camera. So that's been an amazing experience, where literally my best clients, which are most of my clients, are from YouTube, but usually my best clients are the ones on YouTube, because you get that celebrity effect, right? They're like, oh my God, you're the guy from YouTube. And they already kind of know how I carry myself, because I'm not BSing anybody. I'm just being straight up on camera. I don't script anything, I'll do research, I'll bullet point it, I'll look at it, and then I'll just say it how I would say it if I was in front of that person. So when I meet them in person, like, oh, that's what you said on that video, like, and there's that tribe that they feel like they've built, because they're like, I have that vibe, you're the same person that I saw on camera.
For sure, man. It's so powerful. And for anybody that's listening, it does take time to get to that point, because I understand very much as you do. It's, there's a bit of a learning curve to get comfortable speaking into a device. But once you can just relax and have fun with it and enjoy the process, it actually does become way more enjoyable than any other form or medium of prospecting, if you will. So, it's kind of also a good segue into the last couple of things that I always like to dive into, which is from your experience, firstly, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people making with YouTube or video in general? And then contrast to that, what are your best tips of advice for people that are saying, I'm fired up, I want to 5X my production, but I want to make sure I do it the right way?
That's a great question. So the first one, and I'm sure you've heard this a bunch, analysis paralysis, right? You need to just take action, right? So just get the camera out, make it. I don't care if you got uhs, if it's not a beautiful camera, just use your iPhone. Like, you have the most powerful tool right in your hand that can blow up your business. But the thing that's going to stop you is not your equipment, it's you yourself. So just make sure you get yourself in front of the camera and just know you will get better. Again, go back to my old videos. You'll see where I started and where I am now. It levels up, and you're going to become better in person when you're speaking, when you're doing presentations or what have you. So that would be my, one thing that I would look out for. What was the other thing you said?
Best things, like, best practices for somebody that's saying, they want to get started. What's your piece of advice to make sure their content performs, or any best tips for somebody that's ready to launch their channel?
And so some of my best tips I would say is, of course, join the Wolf Pack, because you're going to get all the training that actually shows you A to Z. But it would just be, once again, just take action, get on camera. And also, like we kind of alluded to earlier, do it yourself first. Like, actually edit it yourself first before you outsource, so that you can kind of learn to dig the ditches. And like we were saying earlier, you know what to look for, and you know the quality that you're looking for. And lastly, what I would also suggest is, don't reinvent the wheel. R&D, baby. Rip off and duplicate. Just find somebody who's already doing it, do the exact same thing, and just do it a little bit better, or maybe a tweak of a different style, and you're going to be successful.
Everything's already been done. And I think, the coolest part is like, you're in Hawaii and there might be somebody watching this from California or, Illinois or something like that. And it's like, well, doing your videos in a different market, you're not even competing, right? It's
No.
looking external to your market, because there's so many people that have excelled at this. It's just, as you alluded to, putting your own spin on it and being able to have fun with it. And, I think that's a really great segue, because there's going to be a lot of people that I know are going to watch this and be really excited about, your military training and things like that. Why did you first decide to kind of explore the opportunity with EXP? And most importantly, what do people get and what can people expect when they decide to partner with you and get your wealth of resources in addition to my support?
Yeah, so the reason why I joined EXP, I was originally at Keller Williams. I loved Keller Williams. They were great. But they were kind of in that, as you like to say, the blockbuster, and EXP was the Netflix, right? Already being in the tech space, I'd say the one part or objection people have is like, oh, I want an office, or I'm not that techie, or what have you. I was techie, so it was an easy decision for me. And when I got in there, it wasn't even that techie, right? But, some people are just weird like that. But anyways, it was kind of a slam dunk in regards to the commissions and the multiple streams of income that I'm able to generate from EXP. So that kind of was a no-brainer for me. That was an easy decision. But it was funny because I was thinking about making the decision, and then I reached out to you, not even joining EXP. It was just to talk about video, because you were crushing
I remember
it.
that call.
And you picked up, and I was like, once again, the celebrity fan. I was like, oh my God, it's a guy from YouTube. But I remember me being in my car and us talking about it. And I think when I joined the Wolfpack, I think I was like in the 20s, like maybe the 22nd person or something like that. Now we got thousands or what have you. But yeah, so that was for EXP. And in regards to, partnering up with me or partnering up with the Wolfpack in general, what I can provide is kind of showcasing my journey, but more importantly, my outsourcing process, right? So I've got systems in place. I even have the team that can help facilitate anybody who does want to partner up with me, and they've got plenty of time to help you with your process. And then of course, with the Wolfpack, when you join with anybody who's at the Wolfpack, you get all the amazing training that you've provided, Mike, and which has literally taken my business and my life to the next level. So that's kind of what people can expect. And also, if you guys have anybody who's interested, come check out my channel, subscribe, and get notified. Because I am going to be dropping some new videos, kind of going over my process, because once again, I'm not trying to hold my cards. I'm going to go by what you say, Mike, which is basically just give out as much value as possible, and it will always return in dividends.
Big time, man. And I think, also there's going to be, because I know there's a lot of people that, are in military locations as well. And I think even just being in proximity to you and be able to get help or be able to model, your private program and being able to get access to that is such a massive opportunity. And not having to reinvent the wheel for that too.
Yeah. So let me just say one last thing, is yes, absolutely. If you guys reach out to me, partner, you get all of the training that I have. You would get my course as well, which you could use yourself to educate yourself or give to other clients. And I don't care if you want to take it, you're on my team, go rip it off. Just do the exact same video, put your face in front of it, right? Again, don't reinvent the wheel. And I'm here to assist. And one thing that's really important for you people who do live in areas where there's a military market, guys, guess what? I was never in the military. I was never in the military. So don't tell yourself, oh, those people, you can only work if you were in the military or military spouse. I have a couple uncles and cousins that are in the military. I don't talk to them that much. I didn't know the jargon. I didn't know anything about VA loans. I educated myself, became an expert, and now people see me as an expert. A lot of times they're like, oh, well, what branch were you in? What rank are you? And I was like, oh, actually, I never was in the military. They're like, oh man, well, you sound like you do. Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So don't have that, that thought in your mind that, oh, I'm not that person, so I can't be that person. Right. So I think that's a really important thing to take away from this.
Definitely, man. No, I think this is a wealth of knowledge. And again, just seeing the fact that you've been able to be diligent, identify this niche and do wonders for your production and be able to support other people is just such a huge opportunity, especially knowing that with the market going this way and that way, there's going to be a lot of people looking for resources, support, and community that they can align with to be able to take that to the next stage. So as mentioned, guys, I'm going to make sure to link all of Pat's incredible content below. Make sure you check him out, as well as a link to book a call to talk with him privately about partnering with him to get not only his support, but mine as well. So Pat, thank you so much for coming on again today, man.
I really appreciate it, brother. It's good to chat with you. I'll see you soon.
You bet. Thanks so much, guys. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.